Hello friends, welcome to Coding Techniques again. Today I'm going to teach you another card UI screen, how to design that, and this will be the fourth episode of our UI series. And if you haven't checked my courses yet, do check it out. Links are there in the description. Go and enroll right now if you want to. So in the UI series so far, I have taught you different kind of designs and this is one of those. So let's design it quickly. So as you can see here, I have created a new project within which I have already done some steps which you can directly follow. First of all, I have changed everything here, just having a card as the title and clear the SCSs here, nothing in the TS file too, except this items array which I have just put on, within which I have an ID, the name, then the photo, and along with that the price and quantity here. That's the only thing that I have passed, which you can do in the same manner. I'll be needing a common module also since I'm using standalone. If you're not using that, if you're using ng module, simply skip this part because you must be already having it up. It is imported here. Once that is done, what am I going to do? Let me just show you the images which I have it in the imgs folder, in the assets folder. So these are the three images which I have here. Along with that, some more things I have already done, which is in the variables.scss. You will see here that the colors are changed, right? So the primary color and secondary color I have changed here. Along with that, I have created a new color. So this is a dark mode actually. I need to scroll towards the top. This is the root one where I have a white color one to which I have defined in this particular manner, and the class is also needed because this is a user defined color. It was not predefined. That is why. So these are the steps which I have already implemented, and now let's move ahead and work with the designing part. So this is a design which we are going to build at first, and for doing that I need to start off with my title here. So for the iron header, I'll give a class of iron no border, and to the toolbar I'll give a color of white which we have defined. Okay, and then I need to change this card here, which is going to be the item length towards add card. So we already have the items array. That is what I'm using here, the length of it. And you can see this is showing up. Now in the SCSS, I need to do something for the iOS one because in Android, it will show up nicely towards the left side, which you can see here, but not in the iOS one. So I need to change that. And in order to do so, I'll have the iOS class here. Along inside that, I'll have a toolbar, the iron title, and to the iron title, I'm passing iron text align to be at the start position and padding left to be 3VH so that we have some spacing here. Okay. Otherwise, this will not show up nicely. If I just remove this, it will have a default padding. Okay. Which I don't want. That is why I'm just passing here padding left to the amount which I need here. Okay. Now the second thing which I need to do is the styling of it, the font style, the font family. I'm going to pass this particular one. So this is the font family which I'm going to use here into our whole application. That is why I've just given this start mark. So it's going to be applied towards this whole page. Okay. Whatever I do within the home page, it will reflect everywhere. So now our header part is done. We need to go to our HTML to work with the iron content here, within which I'll have an iron list where lines will be done and it will only show up if the item's length is greater than 0. Now within this list, I'll have a div here. Now there is an importance to this particular div. You will understand it later on. We can directly use iron item sliding because this items which we are going to have here will be able to slide from right to left. And let me loop it up. So ng4 let item of items, and I'm giving the index also and a particular class of container that is being passed to this particular div. And within this div, there are few things which I'm going to have. First one is the image one, which is going to be this particular one. Okay, so the image is showing up and I'm giving a class of image to this particular one, which we are going to work with in our SCSS later on. Now after doing that within our div, the next thing I'm going to have is iron item sliding, in which I'm going to have iron drag, that is the event within our iron item sliding, and I'm calling a function to access this particular event, where I'm passing the event along with that the index also, so that we can work with that particular array item. So I'll go to the TS file, and after this constructor, I'm going to have this particular function drag item, and we'll pass it empty here. We'll not do anything right now. And I'm going to use implements on init also, just to work with the ng on init. Well, you can work with the constructor also because there is no other page here. But still, I'm going to implement everything within the ng on init only. So now I'll again go to the HTML and work with the other stuff within our ion item sliding here. So within the ion item sliding, I will have ion item options, and I'm going to have side to be end, and the color I'll give it as light color. In fact, I have changed the light color also in the variables.scss. Let me just show you. This is the color which I have given to the light color one. So you can implement the same here. Now in the HTML, within the ion item option, so I'm just passing one option here. I'm passing an icon. Slot will be icon only, so that the icon will look bigger, and the name is trash. The color I've given it as danger. I have not changed the danger color. And then on clicking of it, I'm going to remove the item. So this will be used for removing a particular item from the cart. Now for this one also, I'll go to the TS file and will work with this particular function in this particular manner. Just I've declared it. I'm not going to use it right now. Okay. So once that is done, again, I'm going to go back to the HTML and work with the ion item here. So let me just break it down so that it's pretty simple to understand for each and every one. Okay. So I'm going to have an ion item here, within which I will have an ion avatar on the slot to be start. You can have the image also there. So let me just uncomment this image and comment this particular image for the time being. And I'm going to tell you why I'm using this particular image. So this is the image that is showing up here. Now after this ion avatar, I'm going to have an ion label. So let me just paste this code. So within the ion label, I'm having an ion text where I'm passing the name of the item, and I'm wrapping it up so that if the item name is bigger, still it will show up properly here. It won't show 3 dots, or it will not be cut off from the middle. Then I'm giving another class which will be a user defined one. We are going to work with that into our SCSS, which is named as title. You can give any name you want. After that, in the p tag, I'm giving a class of price. Well, we can remove this also, since there is only one p tag here. So I'll just remove it. And within this, I'm having ion text where color is secondary. Okay, secondary color is almost related to the warning color only. This is the color for the secondary one, which I have changed. Now in the HTML, I'm using this SUP tag also. That stands for superscript tag. And this dollar symbol will be shown in this particular manner, which you can just see here. Okay, so it will be smaller and towards the top side. So that is how it will show up. That is why this tag is important. And then we will have our price here. I hope you have understood this particular part. Pretty simple, right? The ion label one. Now once the ion label is done, I'm going to have an ion row towards the slot end, within which I'm going to have the buttons for incrementing and decrementing the quantity. And you will also see the quantity here. So as you can see right now, we can see the price along with the dollar symbol here, the item name, the image, everything is showing up. Just one more thing is left. Let's finish that off. So within this ion row, I'll have a column within which I'll have an ion fab button. I've given a class of add. We are going to work with that because this will add the quantity here. Okay, that is why it is going to be used. The size will be small for the fab button. I'm using a fab button because it is circular by default. So I don't need to go for any CSS for that. Now the color, I've given it as white color. And within that, I have an icon whose name is add. So it will be an add icon or add button, I would say. Now it is giving me an error because in the TS file, again, I need to work with the add quantity functionality. So this time I'm going to do what? Within the add quantity functionality, I'm going to directly pass this particular functionality in which the item quantity, I'm going to add it up and will merge it with the total one. Okay, so adding the amount with the total one. This is how I'm going to do that. And in order to implement that, I need to have total initially to be 0. Okay, and along with that, in the ng on init also, I'm going to use a for loop here to have our actual total because we already have the items here, right? So I'm going to do what? Items price along with the item quantity. I'm going to multiply those two to get our total amount. Okay. Now in the previous lecture, I think I have missed that out in the episode 3, but this time I'm going to show you in this particular manner. All right. So once that is done, I'll go back to the HTML. Don't worry about the design. We are going to work with that in some time. Now after this ion column, I'm going to have another ion column for the quantity that will show up here. So let me just remove this particular one. I'll just show you later on what exactly the use of that. Okay, so in this particular one, I'm just going to show the quantity here, and we'll have a class to modify this particular ion column, because there are a lot of ion columns which we are going to have, at least 3. So in order to identify that, it's better to give a class name. Okay, now the final column which I'm going to have is for the subtraction button, which is going to be the remove one, in the same manner that we have done for the add one. Just the function name is different. It's going to be minus quantity, and other things are the same here, just the class name is also different. Okay, so let's implement the minus quantity function also in our TS file. So what am I going to do? This will be my functionality in which I'm going to subtract the price from the total amount. Okay, every time you click on the minus button, and if the quantity is greater than 1, then I'm going to decrease the quantity. Otherwise, I'm simply going to remove the particular item from the list. Now in the remove function, remove item function, I have given index of type number and remove to true. So why this remove is used, I'm going to show you just now. Let me just paste the functionality here. So if remove is true, then I'm going to again work with this particular one. I'm going to subtract the item price into quantity, and I'm going to subtract it from the total. Okay, why this is being done? Because if you directly click on the, if I just slide it, you will see this button. If I click on this button, then it will be removed directly. So I need this functionality here also. Alright, that is why it is being done in this particular manner here, because I need to remove all the quantity from here directly, whether it is 2, 4 or any number. Then I'm going to filter those items which are not having that particular ID, and that's it. So this is what I'm calling here. That is why I've given false here, because I don't want to execute this particular one, as we are already subtracting it at the top. Hope it's clear. Now this is not looking that great, right? So let's work on the SCSS at first, for which I'll go to the SCSS and work with the ion content here. So ion content, within that I'm going to have an ion list, to which I'm going to give a background of transparent one. Okay, so that it won't have any default color. After that, within the ion list, I'll be having the div class container, right? Within which I'm going to pass a margin towards the left and right side of 3VH and towards the top and bottom. I don't need any margin. The next thing I'm going to work with is the ion item sliding. Now within the ion item sliding, I want to change the background color, the border radius, and give some margin also, which you won't see right now because everything is present within an ion item. So I need to work with the ion item to show you the light color one. Okay, but this is very important, which you will come to know in some time. Now let's work with the ion item here, within which I'll give a border radius of 20 pixels once again, padding start to be 5 pixel and inner padding end to be 5 pixel. So inner padding end is for this particular one. Okay, how much padding is from the ion item one. Then padding start will be for this particular one. Okay, because this is the ion avatar from the left side, how much padding is to be provided, that is what it is going to tackle. Then a border radius is being given. Now it is not showing up anything. Let me just do one thing in my HTML here. To the ion item, where is it? This is the one. Let me pass a color of light. So color of light. Okay, now you will see the whole design here. So this is the one. Now I'll go back again to the SCSS here. You will come to know now. So what is ion item sliding here? Let me just show you why that is being done. So this is our ion item here. Okay, now this is our ion item sliding, which you can see. Okay, so you will have some spacing there also, because when you slide it up, I still want to have the same border radius everywhere. That is why this is being done. And the margin top and bottom is being given because we need to have some margin bottom here and at the top side also. That is why it's being done for the ion item sliding. Hope it's clear till now. Now within this ion item, I need to work with the ion avatar here in this particular manner. So avatar size is defined here. We need to have some more stuff, but let me just fix this particular ion row at first. So within the ion row, what am I going to do? This is the stuff which I'm going to implement here, where you will have the background color to be transparent and a border of 1 pixel of this particular color, which is a lighter color, which you can see here. Then the border radius of 2 rem is being given. That is why this is rounded, right? Now the margin is 0. That is only available for Android one, because otherwise this will show up. The whole stuff will show up towards the bottom side. Let me just show you here. If I just go to any Android device and remove this margin, what you are going to see, just look at this. There is a lot of spacing, which I don't want. Okay. That is why if I just pass this margin to be 0 here, it is going to show up nicely. Okay. Let's get back and reload it up. Once that is done, this is very important. Writing mode, vertical LR, left to right. So after I give that, then only it is moving towards this particular direction. But I want to change the direction of this quantity one to be horizontal. And in order to do that, I need to work with the ion column here. So within the ion column, what am I going to do? At first, I want to align everything towards the center and padding to be 0, because there will be little padding by default, which I don't want in ion column. Now you will see that this is aligned in a proper manner. Just a button is not looking that great. We are going to work with that also. The important thing is to work with the ion text here at first, for which I'm going to pass this particular one, writing mode to be horizontally top to bottom. Now you will see that this is horizontally showing up, and the font weight to be 600. That is what I have given. Now this is looking great. The next thing I'm going to work with is the ion fab button, in which I'll have margin to be 0, height and width I have defined, and a border radius of 50%, which I have given just to make it circular once again. But this height and width I have given just to have a proper size of it. Otherwise it was not showing me the proper size here, because we have given padding to be 0 for the ion column. Now the icon size also I have given it as 1.2 rem as per our requirement. So if you just check it in our Android device also, you will see that it is the same design here also. Fine. So this is what we have achieved so far. Looking nice. Now I want to work with the add and minus button one by one, just to pass a box shadow. And in order to work with that, we have already given a class of add and minus to each and every one. So this is the box shadow which I'm going to go for the add button, and this is the one for the minus button. Now you will see a slight box shadow which is looking lovely towards the bottom side and towards the top side for the minus button. Now after this ion column, I need to work with something else also, another ion column, where we have the class of quantity, right? So I'm giving a margin towards the top and bottom side of 1.5 pixels, so that we have some spacing here, and then nothing on the left and right side. Now if you just see this, it's looking much better, isn't it? If I don't give this stuff, let's see what happens. If I just comment this, it's a little congested, right? That is why it is being done. So our ion row part is done. Now I also need to work with the ion label also. Let me do it at the top. Okay. So for the ion label, this is the stuff which we need to implement here, where I will have padding top to be 15 pixels, padding bottom to be 15 pixels for the ion label, so that it will be implemented everywhere. Okay. And then the title one, that is within the ion text, we already have a class title, which you can just see here. Okay. We have defined it, where I'm giving a font size of 1.2 rem and a font weight of 600. And in the p tag, I'm giving a margin top of 3vh, because I need some spacing between the two. And within the ion text of this, I'm giving a font weight of bold and font size of 1.5 rem, little bigger than the title one. And the superscript tag, which we have here, that is having the dollar symbol, I'm giving a font size of 0.8 rem. Now it is perfectly aligned and looking superb. So the ion label is done. Let me minimize it. The ion row is done. Let me minimize that also. The only thing that we need to work with is the ion avatar here. So the avatar is still looking fine, but I don't want it in this particular manner. Instead, I want to show this image towards the left side or outside of this particular ion item sliding. That is why at the earlier I have shown you that there is an image tag outside of this ion item sliding. So I'm going to use this particular image here instead of the image within this particular ion avatar. So if we do so, you might be thinking that I should remove this ion avatar. Why? What is the need of it? Well, I won't do that, because I need some spacing here, okay, which you can see it is showing up. So this spacing, I'm going to utilize that by filling up the particular image using the absolute position. Okay, you will see now how I'll do it. After this is being done, the whole stuff is done, then I'm going to work with the image class here. This is the one. And after doing so, you will see that this is aligned in a proper manner. And what have I done here? I've just given position to be absolute, then a height of 10 VH, width of 10 VH, border radius I have given to make it circular of 50%. Box shadow I have given 10 pixel, 10 pixel, 10 pixel 0, and the color will be C5, C5, C5. Now that is why this is showing up a shadow here, which is looking lovely. Now I have transformed it in X and Y direction. First of all, in the X direction minus 10% and in the Y direction 20%. That is why it is looking in this particular manner. Now the important role which is done by the Z index. If I don't give this Z index, it will not show up at the top, which you can see it is towards the back side of the iron item sliding. But if I give the Z index of 999, whichever higher number you are giving it up, it is showing up now. So as you can see here, the basic design which we have seen here is implemented in our example 2, right? Still the footer part is left, which we are going to work with. Let's do that also. So I'm going to go to the HTML one, scroll towards the bottom, and after the iron content, I'm going to have the iron footer in this particular manner where there will be no border. The color of the toolbar will be white color, and I'll have a button inside the toolbar to which I will give a color of primary, expand to block, size will be large, and shape will be rounded. This is how it will show up. Then within the iron text, within the iron button, I'll have total colon. Then a bold tag. Within that, I'll have a superscript tag for the dollar symbol. And then I'll show the total amount. But the total amount can be having some decimal value also. You can do the same for the other prices also. That is why I'm fixing it to 2 decimal places by using the number pipe, which is there by default. You don't need to do anything else for that. This is how I have just done that part, and we are good to go. So you can see the stuff which is showing up here nicely. Now I'll go to the SCSS once again, and at the very end I'm going to work with the iron footer styling also, within which for the iron button I'll give some margin, okay, and then for the iron text I'll just change the font size to be 1 rem, and for the superscript tag 0.7 rem, and for the one in the bold tag I'm giving a margin left of 2 pixels so that it has some margin between the two, the total one and the amount one, and a font size of 1.15 rem within the bold text. So by default it is 1 rem, but within the bold tag that means the amount will have 1.15 rem font size. Okay, hope it's clear to you. So the design is now ready here, but if I just slide it up, you can see this is showing up. That's in fact great, but I need to change the color of this particular one. So as you can see here in the screen, this is what we have designed so far, and we need to design this particular stuff now whenever we slide it up. And this iron drag functionality will come into very handy in order to achieve that, which we have already defined in our HTML for the iron item sliding here. This is the one which we are going to work with in our TS file. So let me quickly implement the changes here which I need to perform. At first I will have a change color which will be of type any array, and I am passing in exclamation symbol so that it will show that this will not be an empty one. Now in the ng on init, what am I going to do? I am going to fill this particular array with false value up till the length of the items one in this particular manner. Now let's go to the remove item one. When I'm removing any item from that particular item list, I need to remove the change color also from that particular change color list so that it will have the same amount of length and the indexes will match up. Otherwise this will create a problem. So in this particular manner I'm going to do so with the help of the index. Okay, alright, so remove function is ready, minus add is ready, only working with the drag one is left here. So within the drag one, how exactly it works, let me just show you that. Okay, so I'm just going to have it. Let's go to console log and I'm going to just drag it. So you see the initial value, how much it is, it's around 0.30, 0.30 or something. And where can be the intermediate value? We'll have 6. Okay, fine. What is the maximum value? Maximum value is detail 71. Alright. So what I can say is, if you're going almost around 50% dragging of that particular item, then I want to change the color because you don't want to do it after full drag. Okay, so this is the last one where it is dragged fully. So let me just take the value to be 30. I think 30 will be fine. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I'm going to implement a functionality in which there are two things which I'm going to track it down. First one is the event.detail.amount, which you have already seen. If it is greater than 30 and this change color of that particular index is false, that means it is not true. So the color is not changed yet. If the color is not changed, then I'm going to call a function on direct change function where I'm going to pass that particular index and set it to true. Okay, now what needs to be done within that particular function? Let me just have that. So on direct change function will help you to change the color of it by filling all the colors to be false once again, so that all the other ones are false and the only one that is selected or dragged will be changed to that particular color which is passed here, okay, which is set to true. So that is what I'm doing here. I'm setting that particular index to be true here. That is what I'm doing. In fact, you can set it to false also, what depends what value you are passing here. Now, if the event.detail.amount value is less than 30 and the color is true, then I want to change that color to be false of that particular index. That also can be done using this particular function. Okay, so I hope it's pretty simple to understand this particular functionality here. Now everything is done, but still you won't see any changes here as of now because we haven't implemented the same stuff into our HTML. Let's work on that. I want to change this color to light or primary based on my change color one. So I'll do it in this particular manner. Change color of that particular index. If it is true, then I want the primary color, otherwise the light color. So now if I just drag it, you see that the color is changing for the iron item, right? So this is what I need. And if I just drag it once again, which will have a value less than 30, then only it's going to start to get back to the light color. So it is working for us so far, but still somewhere else also I need to work around, and that's gonna be the color for the iron text for the quantity one. So as of now, I have not given any color. That means it is dark color, but I want to give some color to it, which is going to be the light color if the change color is true for that particular index. Otherwise, it's going to be the primary color. So by default, it is the primary color. And if I drag it, you will see the light color will show up. So this is how it is being done. In fact, you can have the white color also if you want to. That's completely your choice. So this thing is done, right? Everything is working here nicely, but I'm still not happy with this. If you just look at this particular design, the image size is also changing based on this particular color change, right? That is what we need to achieve here. And in order to do that, towards the div, now I told you why I'm using this particular div here for the image one, of course, and we can use this particular one for changing the stuff within that, based on the color change. So I'm going to use the ng class here, where I'll just pass container slide class if the color is true. Now this is not available so far, so let's go to SCSS and work with that here before the iron footer. So this is the class styling which I'm going to apply. At first, I'll give some margin towards the right side only to be 3VH. On the left side, I'm just passing it as 0, which was earlier on this particular one. 0 and 3VH on the left and right both were given, but right now I'm not passing that up. So if I just show you one by one by commenting this particular stuff, what will be the impact of this particular one? Now if I just drag it, you see that this is taking the whole size here. That's in fact great. That's what I need. And now if I comment this image one, because I'm reducing the size of the image by reducing the height and width and transforming it to 15% towards the left side in the X direction and 50% in the Y direction. So if I just drag it once again, you see that the image is reduced to a great extent, which is looking great, right? And it is still centered up. Now the final thing for the iron label, I just want to give some margin left to show it properly here. That is why it is being done. So if I just drag it, still we can see the title and the price here. That is why it is being done. Now if I just use that, you just look at it, how smoothly it is being done. All right. So now, as you can see here, since I click here, it is taking the full size, but still it is not changing the color of it. So it happens sometimes. And what you can do is you can drag the other ones little bit and it will go away. All right. So something is there you can work around, like if it is 0, then again you can change it up. But since I click here, the index got changed. Once the index is changed and I'm not dragging it up to a value of 30, so it is not changing the color. That is what it is being done. So you can just reduce the value to be like 10 or in fact to 0 however you want to. But I'm happy with this particular design so far. It's looking lovely. And if you just increment the size of it, just check it out. It is working. It is changing the value here also, which was not done in the episode 3 because I wanted to see how you guys react. But I'm just showing you the design part, okay? If you want that, I'll just make the changes in the source code and you can just get that, okay? Let's try this out. If I just subtract it, or let's try the remove one. 4 items removed, it's going to reduce by $48. So let's check it out. And it is working nicely. Again, if I just remove it in this particular manner, it is gone. So 3 items, it will be 54. That's correct. If I just remove it, it's gone. And it is 0 here. So everything is working as expected. So friends, I have made few changes here. Well, actually what happened is I just checked the application into my iPhone and the buttons here in the iron row were not placed properly. Sometimes it is getting placed, sometimes not. So in order to fix that, I removed the iron fab button. Instead of that, directly I'm using the iron button here. And I have wrapped this iron button within the iron buttons, okay, where I have passed the class minus, which was earlier passed to the iron fab button. And the color to the iron button, I have given it as dark because by default, within the iron buttons, the iron button color, whatever you give, will only show the icon color. Okay, it will only show the icon, the button will not show up. That is why I'm using the iron buttons here. Similarly, the same stuff I've done for the add one also. The functionality and everything is same, just the wrapping part is different. So instead of the iron fab button, I'm using the iron button and wrapped it up within the iron buttons. That's the only change which I have done here. Along with that, in the SCSS also, which was there in the homepage SCSS, this was the earlier design which we implemented for our iron fab button. Instead of that, in the iron buttons, I am passing the same stuff only. Along with that, just the background color also I've changed, which you can in fact have the from the variables one, because we already have the white color there. So iron color white, okay, and the same color is showing up. Now the icon size need not to be given. If you want, definitely you can try that up. And I'm going to remove this iron fab button styling here. We don't need it anymore. Now I have changed this one also from iron fab button to iron buttons, where I'm passing the add class. In fact, you can remove the iron buttons also. Okay, just dot add and dot minus is enough to work with. Rest is the same. So no other changes I have made, just this particular change and everything is good to go in this particular one. So we have the same design and it is working in iPhone also properly without any trouble. Now finally, I want to show you one more thing in the TS file here. So the condition which we have given for our dragging one, well, I just missed out to pass equal sign also, less than equals to 30. In fact, you can give it here also anywhere in one of the places, so that it can track if you have value 30 also, still it will work properly. So now as you can see here, it is working nicely. It is showing up the same stuff, but still there is a possibility that it can still break. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use iron column of size 12 everywhere, okay, in this particular manner. The design will break, don't need to worry. In the SCSS, what am I going to do? I'm going to remove this writing mode and this particular one also. After doing this, still this is showing up nicely. Now I'll give the width to my iron column to be, let's say, 1.4 VH, which is going to have the same stuff here. Now if you want to have some margin towards the right side, then you can simply work on the iron row where margin to be given is 0. You can simply have margin right to be, let's say, 5 pixels. Okay, now you just check it out. It is working here. So this is what you can simply pass. I don't want to do it, so I'll just remove it. Okay, this is how you can work around with this particular stuff. And along with that, one more thing, I have increased the margin for the quantity one to be 5 pixels instead of 1.5 pixels, which is in fact great here. Okay, so now if you work with this, it won't break at any point. So this is the optimum way of working with this particular design here. So I have shown you a lot of stuff, how to work with the iron fab button, how to work with the iron buttons also, and along with that, by using the iron column size and everything. Now the final thing which I want to just check it here is in the footer one, which is related to the superscript tag. I want to change it to 6.65. Let's see. Now this is better because it is at the same height, right? That's what I need. If you want to increase it more, definitely you can work around with that. But I'm happy with this particular stuff here. Alright. So this is it for this lecture. I hope you like this particular video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and do subscribe to the channel if you're new here. So thank you so much for watching guys. See you next time.